come in. They would load, unload people. Okay. This is the first place where people used to do drama. They would close this gate, and they would have one person standing here to collect from you 1 penny. 1 penny allows you to come in here. Now they set up their stage here, okay? The stage is temporary. Usually it is high, and it is a single level because it's a temporary structure. And then if you want to sit down while you watch the drama, and you probably do want to sit down, not on the ground, but somewhere. If you want to sit down, then at the base of the stairway, another actor is here to collect a 2nd penny from you. Then you can go up and sit on this walkway here, you know, and you can sit there. Some other people are maybe willing to sell you a cushion or something. But then the people who stand here, and this is open to the sky. Great Britain is a rainy climate. Okay. My friend Sanjit, who is here, is from Darjeeling, so he understands what a rainy climate means. Rain, 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 rain. Or this is once you pay your penny, after you pay and you are there and the drama is going on, if the skies open and rain falls down, there is no refund. They do not stop the drama, they keep going. They put a roof, temporary roof over this. The actors are sheltered from the rain, and these people are sheltered from the rain, but they are not. But that's the price of an economy price ticket. Okay, you stand in the rain while the movie goes on. The actors will participate with the audience because this stage, people are standing right up against the side of the stage. So if this wall is the stage and it is this high, you know, so that everybody can see. And if I have decided I only want to pay 1 penny, so I'm standing right beside the base of the stage. And if the band says, if the band wants to make, as there is in one Shakespeare play, he talks about somebody who is bald or somebody who has lots of hair, okay? So he will say, a man who is bald, and he will point right at me, okay? And somebody who is bald, and the audience will laugh, you know, or then they will say to somebody who has lots of hair, they'll find some guy with a big beard, you know, down here, and they'll know somebody else with the hair. So there's an engagement with the audience, because the audience is right there in front of them. There is no distance. And if they don't like the play, they may have a nice ripe tomato in their pocket, you know, that you throw at the audience. They call insults if they don't like the play. Nothing like that, you know. So they heckle. They heckle the actors, you know, and they have been going from town to town to town, traveling and doing this drama. So they are well practiced for how to respond to the hecklers. If you heckle, you are asking for trouble, because these guys are very witty and they are very experienced. And if you say something insulting to them, they can reply with something worse back to you. So you have to think twice before you're going to say anything. So they would have these. Now these traveling players, some of them, it seems, came to Shakespeare's town doing these dramas. And he was captivated. He wanted to act. He wanted to be part of this. So finally, he went to London, and he got there at about the perfect time, because they were starting to build drama houses. Now, in the same drama house, they would have other kinds. They would have other kinds of entertainment. For example, and some of the culture was very rough at the time. It was bear baiting. they get a bear, and then they set dogs, 3 or 4 dogs on the bear. And the bear is chained, and he cannot get away, and he tries to attack the dogs, and meanwhile, dogs are attacking him from each side. It was very cruel, okay? But what I'm trying to tell you is, the same people who are watching Shakespeare drama on other days of the week are watching in the same place this stuff, okay? It's kind of like TV, you know. You can watch you can watch an educational program, you can watch something cultured on TV, and then you can go to WWF and watch something stupid and violent, you know, on the same box. Okay. So if we want to say that they are partly intelligent and partly stupid, well, so are we. We do some of the same stuff. These people, instead of using inns, they built drama houses that were designed almost the same way. They had 2 floors, they had a stairway. You paid 2 different fees whether you want to stand or sit. Okay, it was of a similar design, but then they built one called, in Shakespeare's time, they built one called the Globe, because it was not exactly round, but it was octagonal, you know. Anyway, and then, you know, they have seats all around, and on one side, they have the stage coming out like this, okay? Now, this Globe Theater burned down, and some few years ago, 10, 15, 20 years ago, it was rebuilt, and it exists today. And so people have these seats all around, and they could, you know, they could come inside and they could stand here. And it was, now back here, they had a balcony. There are doors here to enter the stage. The actors can come on the stage. Left, center, right. Left means from the actor's viewpoint. Stage left. Okay. I'm coming on stage before you. This is stage left, center, right. From my viewpoint. So the stage direction is for the actor. Then above this, these are dressing rooms. All their costumes, everything is in here. And there is a roof on this. And on the top of it, okay, you are looking at the stage, and there is up here, if you are doing Romeo and Juliet, Romeo comes, Juliet is on her balcony, she's saying, oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? And he comes to talk to, oh, beautiful Juliet. Okay. By the way, all of you who think that Romeo and Juliet is a love story, just remember that about 4 people get murdered in it. So, she was about 13, he was about 14, okay, and they were from warring families, and lots of people dying at the end, okay. But up here, on this balcony, Juliet can stand, and Romeo's down here talking to her. Now, on this stage, they often have a trap door in the floor. It can open down. What is the reason for that? If you want to have some demon coming up from below the earth, he can come up through the trap door. And, if you want to have God speaking, God is speaking to everybody. God appears up, the actor who is representing God appears up here and talks. In that drama, this is heaven. In another drama, it's Juliet's balcony. So they have, this is the way the stage is, and as I told you, the groundlings, the people who stand here, they're all standing at the base here. Okay, now, a Shakespeare play, why see, other people were writing plays. There was a guy called Ben Jonson who was more educated than Shakespeare, and he knew Latin and things like that. But even Ben Jonson, who outlived Shakespeare, when Shakespeare died, Ben Jonson said he is for all time. There is nobody like him. He's not only our age, but he's for all ages. Shakespeare's writing is so tight, there's so much in it, that if you are simply watching the play, which of course that's what you should do, it's a drama, it's not a novel. When you only read Shakespeare, sometimes it's hard to understand, and I didn't like Shakespeare at first, but what happened is I heard Shakespeare on I heard it on a BBC radio. In our library, they had recording of the BBC radio program. And so I thought, maybe if I listen to this while I'm reading it, maybe I will get it. Okay. So then I started listening to it, and that opened it up for me. Then later, please remember that it's a drama. Okay, it's a play. Originally, the written was only for the actors. It was their actor's script. Okay. The reason Shakespeare survives is because, as literature, not only as drama, is because his writing is so good and so tight that you can't get everything just by watching the play. You miss too much because, as you're just talking on, and it comes at you so fast. So you say, I want to read this, I missed too much. So then that's how they got the writers, the acting script, and started to put it in a book. And soon after Shakespeare died, some of his friends said, we have to put this together and make it so people can read it. Now, a Shakespeare play, Shakespeare wrote comedies. Comedy is not Charlie Chaplin only, okay? You have comedy on TV here, you know. And comedy can mean silly stuff, like you throw a banana peel and they, okay, that's comedy, okay. But comedy broadly simply means the main character, things happen nicely for him at the end of the story. So you feel happy. Okay, comedy means the main character turns out well. The protagonist, the favorable character, things turn out well for him. That's comedy. Tragedy is the opposite. The main character, the one you sympathize with, things go badly for him. And that's tragedy. So then, one man, there's a joke, one man said, they have an interview, okay, between the interviewer and the 2,000-year-old man. So if he is the interviewer and I am the 2,000-year-old man, okay, then he says, please tell me what you think is the difference between comedy and tragedy. So I say, tragedy is if I cut my finger and it will bleed and I will cry. Oh. Comedy is if you step into an open sewer and die, then I will laugh. So, that is not the real difference between comedy and tragedy, okay? Comedy is where the protagonist, the main character with which you sympathize, that character turns out well. And tragedy is when he does not turn out well. He suffers an unhappy ending. Anybody, have you ever heard the name Aristotle? Aristotle. He was
इंग्लिश में पोएम
Yeah.
Aristo.
हिस्ट्री में तो
हिस्ट्री में भी
अरिस्टोटल
है
He was a philosopher, and he asked the question, why do people go to see a tragedy? Because when they go to see a tragedy, they feel sad, you know. They go away. So why do they go if they know it's going to be a tragedy? And he said the reason I think they go, Aristotle said, I think they go because they feel clean somehow. They wash to have catharsis. They wash their feelings out. Maybe that's why they go to a tragedy. Shakespeare also wrote history dramas. Now, in some of his history dramas, Shakespeare, remember, was not in the business of education. Shakespeare was in the business of entertainment. The reason he's in our education is because he does put a lot of wise statements in his drama, okay, as well. But remember, Shakespeare's business is to fill that theater with seats. He has to put on an exciting show, okay? So sometimes he changes things in the story to make it more exciting. Just like Hollywood will sometimes make a historical drama, but they will change things, they will consolidate characters, they will speed up the events to make an exciting movie. Okay? And you just remember that Hollywood's purpose is entertainment, is for you to buy a ticket or to buy a DVD. So they may give some education, but there's often some adjusting and changing of it for their main purpose. And he wrote history dramas because when Shakespeare started, everybody was writing history dramas at that time. It was very popular. England, what was going on? England was fighting against Spain, and dramas which were about England, we're the greatest, everybody said, yeah, we're the greatest, okay? In the Greek time, the Greek dramas, those took place when Greece was fighting Persia, and they had a lot of the same feeling. Yay, Greece, we're the greatest. We defeated the greatest empire